All right, so getting ready to check out the synchronization on my carbs. And what I wanted to do was start up the engine and warm it up first. I'll shut it down and I'll hook up my setup, my tool, and then restart it and see if they're synchronized to begin with. I thought I'd do that before I loosen off the lock nut and perhaps by accident, move the adjustment screw. So just leave it alone and check it out first. So I've got my temporary fuel tank set up. It's an old lawnmower fuel tank, and I just have it wired down so that it won't flop around. And I've got my tubes that I made up in place on the inlet to the head, and just got some caps on them for now so I can run the engine, and I'll end up taking the caps off when I want to set up my my little tool. So I made those from brake line. I think it was like a 6 or an 8-inch length of brake line, 5mm brake line. And then I just tapped one end, 5mm by, or not tapped, I put them in a die. I made threads on one end, 5mm by 0.8mm, that's the pitch. And they fit in there nice. You just got to put them in finger tight. There's no need to snug them down really hard. And so that's where I'll hook those up to. And then I've got my setup over here that I made with a couple of larger mason jars. And just got some tubing. I used the rest of the brake line, and I cut it up into 4 pieces and epoxied them in. And here's the vents, and I'll end up hooking up this end of the tube to that brake line tubing that I got on the motorcycle, and it'll just change the pressure inside the bottles. And I've got this tubing here set up with tubes that run down to the bottom. I just made up some tea, and I put in tea so that it got some color to it. It's not going to suck anything up into the engine because there's not enough tea in there to fill up an entire bottle, so I'm okay there. But I wanted to be able to see it rise or fall easily, and the color should do that for me nicely. So I set this up, made this up. I mean, it's easy to make up, but I did this because I thought this would be a little bit better than a gauge. I think the gauges tend to bounce around a little bit with the pulses of the pistons as they rise and fall in the engine. And I think this should absorb a lot of that pulsation, and should be able to see it, see the liquid go up or down, or if they're synchronized, it really shouldn't move very much. It should pretty well stay the same. And then if it isn't, I'll shut off the engine, and I'll loosen that lock nut. I think it's on the left carburetor. That's the one that gets adjusted when you're doing the synchronization. So you'll turn the adjustment screw clockwise or counterclockwise to either make it suck more on the left or suck more on the right, and balance things out. But right now, looking at a dead battery, so charging up the battery, but other than that, I'm ready to go. So we'll hook it up and see how it goes afterwards. And I might get lucky and they're already synchronized, and then I don't have to mess with the adjustment, which would be nice because it's between the carbs and it's a little bit of a fiddly spot to get to, but I'll manage.